Well, here's a question. What would you do when you suddenly find almost 200,000 Rand has been deducted from your account? Well, apart from having a coronary, you might want to find out what's actually happened. It may not be an everyday thing. I don't mean having 200,000 Rand in your account. I mean the fact it's gone. But it does happen. My next guest is Gert van Heerden from the Office of the Tax Ombud. And Gert, good morning to you. It's such a pleasure having you with us. And the reason we wanted to chat to you, discussing fairness and steps that anyone can take if they've been unfairly treated as a taxpayer. So good to have you with us. Tell us about this 200,000 Rand that vanished from someone's account, but it seems through your office the money has been returned. Tell me about it.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody joining us today. What happened in this matter is that a taxpayer was a company, and SARS used the incorrect registration number to register a pay-as-you-earn account for this company. And on this pay-as-you-earn account, there was a debt of more than 200,000. And because it was registered on the incorrect company registration number, SARS started trying to collect the debt from this company, who shouldn't even have been registered for pay-as-you-earn in the first place. So when the company came to us, they had been struggling with SARS because they've been trying to get this registry of the pay-as-you-earn number deregistered. And at that stage, SARS did a third-party appointment, which they are allowed to do under the correct circumstances, and removed almost 200,000, more than almost 200,000 rands from the taxpayer's account.
195,365 Rand suddenly gone from someone's account. This company in question, these individuals in question, they contact your office. So tell me about how you were able to fix this and what the findings were on this. Who was at fault, do you think?
Well, SARS was definitely at fault because the taxpayer had been engaging with SARS for quite some time, for several months, to try to get this resolved. And it is actually a very simple issue about just a registration that needs to be corrected. We assist because this is clearly not only an administrative issue from SARS, but also a service failure from SARS. And because they simply had to change the registration. So we got involved, we made a recommendation to SARS to correct the registration and obviously for the money to be refunded, and it was refunded to the taxpayer.
This is a fascinating discussion to have, Gert. I'll tell you why, because there has been an impression in the past that if there's an issue with SARS, people are too scared to take up the issue with SARS directly for, fear of any kind of retribution or money vanishing from the account. And then B, coming to the Tax Ombud, there was an impression for years, wasn't there, that SARS and the Tax Ombud were almost in the same bed together and nothing was going to happen. But clearly this shows that's actually not what's happening.
Yeah, we deal with sometimes hundreds of millions of rands that we take SARS on about. It is a perception out there, and we get it quite a lot where people say, well, especially tax practitioners, they say that they can't get the instructions from their clients to actually lodge complaints with the Tax Ombud because of that fear of retribution or fear of being victimized. And we have had allegations of that happening in the past, but in each one of those allegations, we did investigate, and we've got the commission on board that whenever there's any instance of an allegation of victimization because a taxpayer came to our office, we've got a direct line to him and he will take it up. And in every single instance where there were those allegations in the past, it is clear and there's no evidence of any victimization happening. So even in this instance, this case, it shows the importance of a taxpayer complaining to our offices, because if they didn't approach us, they probably still would have been making follow-ups and phoning SARS and talking to contact centers in SARS instead of having the money refunded.
Yeah, the SARS contact center, I think, is a discussion that we can have another day when we have about 3 hours to have the discussion. Gert, before I say goodbye to you, I can hear irate tax compliant South Africans asking me to ask you this question. If you are late with a SARS payment, we get penalized as South Africa. This money, as we've spoken about, was taken out of the account incorrectly. It was put back Is SARS going to pay a penalty for getting this wrong? Final question to you. Should they pay a penalty?
Unfortunately, they do not pay penalties. At the same time, we've had these discussions whenever we talk about tax policy and legislation as well. The question is, if SARS pays a penalty, and it's a bit of a catch-22 situation, where does that money come from? And it's going to be taxpayers who's going to foot the bill for SARS's non-compliance as well. So the issue around whether SARS should be paying a penalty, like Her Majesty Revenue Service has to pay penalties under certain circumstances in the UK, it's a very debatable one. Currently, there is no penalty regime in South Africa. And personally, from my perspective, I do not want to say that taxpayers need to put the bill for SARS's non-compliance.
Yeah, that would be unfair. But I think SARS should face a penalty. They do it to all South Africans when they don't get their taxes right. Gert, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us this morning from the office of the Tax Ombud. Some good news, isn't it? Gert van Heerden, senior manager there. It looked like somebody had some money taken out, 200,000 rand. Imagine your heart. You go and pay for your fuel and you can't because 200,000 rand's gone. That must hurt.